So today we are seeing resolving power of any instrument. Resolving power, yes. So we have already seen diffraction, correct? So if a light is passed through a circular hole like this, you see a pattern, something like you see a pattern like this, and this pattern is known as airy disk diffraction pattern. Now here light is, as I said, passed through a small circular aperture and you see a pattern like this. So here if you see, the pattern would look something like this. Pattern would look something like this. So from this hole to this point and this point, that is something like this. From this hole to let's say to this point, over here and over here, we formed we are getting some angle theta, and this angle theta is given as this angle theta is given as 1.22 lambda by d. Here d happens to be the diameter of aperture. Okay, so now if I know this theta, can I also calculate this diameter? Can I calculate this diameter? Can I calculate this diameter as well now? Because I know now theta. I know theta is what? Theta is this. Theta is given as this. If I want to calculate first diameter of this airy disk diffraction pattern, this will be, if I know okay, d I've already taken, d distance I've already taken. So let's say this distance is v. This distance, let's assume, is v. So this diameter d will be theta. We know theta is arc length upon distance. So arc length here happens to be d, distance is v, this is theta is 1.22 lambda by d. So okay, I'm sorry, arc length diameter is, we'll just say it is small d, otherwise two variables will be having confusion. Yeah, so if I want to calculate this diameter d, it will be given as 1.22 lambda d times v. So this is the diameter of the first circle of the airy disk diffraction pattern. This is how you can calculate. Okay. Okay. So I hope this is clear to you. This was the from a single slit. If you just see it from side views, this would give you an impression like this. And this is the diameter of this whole, the center disk, correct? So this diameter can always calculate using this d equals to v into theta, from the very definition of theta itself. So v, as I said, v is the separation of the screen from this circular aperture, and theta we've already calculated. So this theta would be 1.22 lambda by d. Now there's something called as Rayleigh criteria. What is this Rayleigh criteria? Let us see. So now let's say we are producing two diffraction patterns of two light sources, or from two sources we are getting a diffraction pattern which we are getting on this screen. Now to distinguish a diffraction pattern formed by this and formed by this, correct? Let to distinguish a diffraction pattern formed by this and formed by this, our let's say maxima formed by this, let's say this is a, and let's say this is a dash, okay, or let's say this is b, let's, okay. So a ka maxima will be somewhere over here, and b's maxima, let's say, is over here. Correct. So now in this case what we see is we are able to, will be quite clearly will be able to distinguish between these two maximas. Okay. Now the problem is, what if the maximas are like this? What if the maximas are like this? Then it's not so easily distinguishable. So for this, or let's say if it is, in fact, if it is like this, it's very well resolved. If it's like this, it's very well resolved. So if we can get maximus patterns in these three ways. So if you just see the maxima of B lies on the minima of A. This is the minima of A. This is maxima for B. The maxima of B lies on minima of A. So this happens to be a condition which is known as just resolved. If it is like this, the maxima of this lies on, matlab it's just where on the maxima of b's maxima b's maxima is lying on maxima of A. So this condition is like kind of an unresolved condition, and this condition is very well resolved. Okay, so I'll just show you some diagrams based on this. So these are some diagrams based on unresolved, just resolved, and well resolved conditions. So you can see it. Okay. So now let's go ahead. Okay. So now let's try to study diffraction pattern formed by two light sources, and and this you can see red one and you can see blue one. Okay. So now if they are just resolved, you can see this is a condition of just resolved. Just resolved means this has to be a minimum distance between them. This is actually the minimum distance between them in case of it is just resolved. Okay. So if it is just resolved, don't you think I'll get an airy pattern something like this? I'll get an airy pattern like this. And what do you think will be angular separation from of this point and this point? Just resolved means I'll get a condition as I've shown here. You can see this is a condition of almost kind of just resolved. So you can see this diameter and this diameter, centers of these two diameters. What will be the angular separation between the centers of these two diameters? The angular separation theta here will be 1.22 lambda by d. Now here what d we have to take? Here d is known as aperture of this lens. What is this aperture? Aperture is part of this lens which is exposed to the atmosphere. So this here is happens to be d. Just like here d was what? Here d was this aperture of this hole. So here d is aperture of this lens. So I hope that is clear to you. Okay. So so this is angular separation. This and this happens to be angular separation theta. Okay. So now let's try to solve this problem. It is based on distance between two stars. So this is how we can calculate distance between two stars from a in our distant universe. So as you can see, please read the problem and try solving it yourself. You can pause the video and solve. Okay. So here I am solving this problem. So as you can see, many parts to this problems. First being diameter of the Hubble Space Telescope. The lens that Hubble Space Telescope is using is having a diameter of 2.40 meters. So that's the first part over here. That's a diameter of a Hubble Space Telescope. So and uh, and here what it says is images of the two stars. That means something. Two stars must be over here, and this is our Hubble Space Telescope. Now, maybe there's a possibility that okay, there's a possibility that this one star forms an image over here, and this one stars forms an image over here. Now in order these two images to be well resolved or just resolved, what should be the angle between them? As we have said, the angle between them should be theta 1.22 lambda by d. This is a condition for just resolved images. Now it could be well resolved and we can calculate distance between these two stars. That's a different story. But in case if it is just resolved, what will be the angle between these 2 points? It will be 1.22 lambda by d. D I told you is the aperture of this 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 lens. Okay. So let's try to first calculate what this theta will be with this aperture of lens. Okay, so here we are given with the wavelength of the light also. Because this is a condition of just resolvable, we are using this condition. So here theta is going to be 1.22, lambda happens to be 550 into 10 raised to minus 9, and diameter happens to be 2.40. When I solve this, I get almost 2.80 into 10 raised to minus 7 radians. 2.80 into 10 raised to minus 7 radians. So this is our angle when these two stars in our far space are some distance apart. Now let's try to see what will be the actual distance between these two stars. Let's try to calculate this. Now if I know this theta is I mean this is 2.80 into 10 raised to minus 7 radians, this theta and this theta are going to be the same. This theta and this theta, they are going to be the same. and now here I think you're given an estimate that these two stars are almost 2 million light years. So what is 1 million? 2 million light years. So 1 million is 10 raised to 6, correct? So these two stars are 2 million light year of distance. So I think we can get an approximate distance between these two stars. So if I know that 2 million light years, that means again I need to just calculate this s dash, and I'm given this. I'll just because I've already taken a diameter d, so I will take here, this is, let's say this is y, and y here is 2 into 10 raised to 6 light years. Okay, so now again s dash equals to theta into y, which happens to be 2.80 into 10 raised to minus 7 into 2 into 10 raised to 6, which happens to be approximately 0.56 light years. Okay, so this is how we have to approach these problems. Let's see another problem. So now let us see another very interesting question. Please try solving this, and you can pause the video and solve it yourself and then check the answer. Okay, so I'm solving this question now. So now again here the problem is that angle between two just resolvable point. Now again here they have used the phrase just resolvable. So whenever this thing comes just resolvable, you have to understand theta between those 2 points is going to be 1.22 lambda by d. D I told you is the diameter of the aperture. So here again, so what diameter of aperture we are going to take? Here it's given I, the pupil of the eye. Diameter of this 3.44 millimeter is the diameter of the eye. Assume an average wavelength of 540 nanometers. Okay, so wavelength is also given to you. So can we calculate theta over here? So here the value of theta will be 1.22. So I'm here solving the A part first. So 1.22 lambda here is how much? Lambda is 540 into 10 raised to minus 9. And what is the diameter of our pupil? 3.4 into 10 raised to minus 3. That's what the diameter D is. Okay. So when I solve this, what do I get? Okay, so I'm getting an answer over here, 1.93764 so on into 10 raised to minus 4, because this is theta, angle will be, unit will be radians. We can also approximate it to be 1.94 into 10 raised to minus 4 radians. Now now let's see what's happening over here. So again the same thing is happening here. We are supposed to find, if let's say these are two light sources, and let's say one's getting diffracted over here, one's having some diffraction pattern forms over here. Now this light source, to get a proper just resolved image for this diffraction source, what should be the distance between these two light sources? Okay, so what should be the distance between light sources? Or let's see what they have asked in the question. Okay, what is the greatest possible distance a car, okay, so here they're asking you this distance actually. Here they're asking you this distance. Okay, so again, so now we have already calculated this theta. This theta is going to be this. Okay, and here they're asking you this distance t. What should be the distance of the car if they're saying headlights are, now here they've given you this small d. Okay, again I'm taking this d as this is please remember, d is aperture of this lens, so I'll just take this distance as r. So I'll take this distance as r. So we are supposed to calculate this distance r. If this small distance d is given to you as 1.2 meters. Now if this is theta, this is also going to be theta, and I know d is equal to r times theta. Correct? D is equal to r times theta. So again, now this comes out to 1.2 meters. This r we are going to calculate, and this theta we have already kept this value, which is 1.94 into 10 raised to minus 4 radians. So here r is going to be 1.2 upon 1.94 into 10 raised to minus 4, which happens to be, okay, so this happens to be 6.18556 kilometers approximately. So that means if a car is situated at this distance with headlights 1.2 meters, we will be able to distinguish between those two headlights. Otherwise it will just look like one bulb. Will not be able to distinguish between those two headlights distinctly. Okay, now let's see the C part, also very interesting. What is the distance between two just resolvable points held at an arm's length 0.75 meters from your eye? So here they're asking distance between two just resolvable points held at an arm's length 0.75 meters from your eye. So here now they have given you this r, they have given you, and they're asking you this t. Okay, so now this is a very simple question now. So here r is given to you 0.75 meters. Theta is approximately 1.94 into 10 raised to minus 4 radians. And here you can very easily calculate d. So d is going to be r into theta over here. So r is 0.75. Theta is going to be 1.94 into 10 raised to minus 4, which happens to be, okay, which happens to be 1.455 into 10 is to minus 4 meters, which is approximately point one, this thing, point 0.1 millimeters. Yes. That means at a distance of 75 meters, we will be able to distinguish between 1/10 of a millimeter, our eye will be able to distinguish. So that's the resolvability power of our eye. Okay. So I hope this concept is clear to you. Okay, so now let's try to see one more derivation for resolving power of a microscope and a resolving power of a telescope. We'll try to see these derivations over here now. Now let us try to find resolving power of a microscope. So now microscope is a device which which resolves two points which are very intimately connected into a big distance, just like let's say you are viewing a cell. Okay. Now in this cell I may have 2 points. Now a good microscope will be able to resolve these 2 points quite distinctly, correct? If these 2 points are something overlapping and all, then it's not a very good, resolving power of microscope is not so good. Okay, so let's try to find out what will be this minimum distance. So here I'll just label some points. So we'll say this distance is r, which is just resolvable image. We'll say this distance to be, we'll say this distance to be d dash. So now we just need to find out for a microscope what is the minimum separation between these 2 points which this microscope will be able to very well resolve. Okay, so now generally these distances, these objects are kept at focal length of the lens, and this is image, so image is formed at a distance v. Okay, now we all know theta. Here theta, from our airy pattern of diffraction, theta comes out to be 1.22 lambda by d. D is the again aperture of this lens. Now if I know this theta, can I calculate r? R will be v into theta. So v here is v is image distance, so we'll just keep it as it is, and theta here is 1.22 lambda by d. Okay, and we have got this r, and we know formula for magnification. Formula for magnification is v by u equals to image, height of image to height of object. So let's try to put these with all these values over here. So v is, we'll just keep it as v as it is. Now u, if you see, is focal length of this lens. U is focal length of this lens. So u is f. Height of image, here is r. R happens to be this v into 1.22 lambda by d, and and this d will be the, this will be treated as object's height. So this we can take it over here, and once you solve this expression, you get d as, what? You get d as something, v cancels, d as 1.22 lambda f by d. Okay, now if you see, I hope this is clear. This happens to be 1.22 lambda f by d. Now if you see, uh, this theta and this theta is almost the same. So once we have got this angle d, but I'll be doing one more further construction over here, and that is something like this. If I, let's say, join this line to this line of this lens, and almost this line this to this line of this lens, and if I say this angle is alpha, if I say this angle is alpha, so what here I can say tan alpha as d by 2f. You can see this distance is going to be d by 2 now. This is f, so tan alpha is d by 2f, and these angles are very small. So again I can say tan alpha as approximately sine alpha, which is approximately equal to alpha, because these distances are very small. Okay, so if I substitute the value of d as 2f sine alpha, let me substitute the value of d here as 2f sine alpha. So if I substitute d as 1.22 lambda f, d as 2f sine alpha, so ff again cancels, so what we get, d here is 1.22 lambda by 2 sine alpha, which happens to be 0.61 lambda by sine alpha. Okay, so now if I want to further increase this resolving power, what I can do is I can immerse this setup into some medium of refractive index. Okay, what will happen with that? What will happen with that is this lambda will reduce. If I can reduce this lambda somehow, how can I reduce this lambda? I can reduce this lambda if I immerse this setup in some in some medium of refractive index mu. So once I immerse this setup in a medium of refractive index mu, I see refractive index is what? C by V. Okay. C is speed in light, V is speed in the medium. So this is speed in air, this is speed in medium, speed of light in air, speed of light in medium. ठीक है. तो mu we can write n into lambda in air, n into lambda in medium. So medium happens to be lambda of air upon mu. So further I can, so this is how I can reduce the wavelength of the light if I immerse this whole setup in a refractive index of medium mu. So this d happens to be 0.61 lambda by mu, correct? So this is upon sine. So here if I'm using, if I have immersed in some medium, so I'll be using lambda of that medium. That medium ka this thing happens to be air upon mu of sine alpha. So if the refractive index of air is 1, so this d happens to be 0.61 lambda by sine alpha. If let's say this is water or something, then this will be 1.3, it will further reduce by that amount, you know. So this is how I can further reduce this d. Okay. And what is resolving power of a microscope? Resolving power of a microscope happens to be 1 by d, which is equal to mu sine alpha upon 0.61 upon lambda. Lambda, again I repeat, this is lambda of light which is in air. Here you have to make a choice carefully. Okay, now what is the meaning of this? Now just try to see why we have put this formula like this. If these 2 points are very close to each other, resolving power will be quite high. If these 2 points are, let's say, quite far away, resolving power is going to be slightly less, correct? So if 2 points are very close and your microscope is able to resolve them well, just resolved image you are getting, that means it's a very good microscope. But let's say these 2 points are farther, you know, quite farther, and then microscope is resolving them, then it's not a very good microscope, you will say. Okay, so I hope this formula is clear. Resolving power of a microscope. Yes. So this is the formula for resolving power of a microscope. Okay. Now let's try to see resolving power of a telescope. Okay. So uh, in this case, you can we already we have seen a problem above, that let's say these two objects which are quite far away, and let's say we want to resolve them on this screen over here. So let's say this point is resolved over here, and this point is, let's say, resolved over here. Correct. So we have already seen for just resolved condition, this theta from our Airy diffraction pattern we can say is going to be 1.22 lambda by d. D here is again the aperture of the telescope. And how much small this angle will be? How much small? I repeat, how much small this angle will be? That much high will be the resolving power of this telescope. That depends on the diameter of your lens. That's why you saw the Hubble Space Telescope, the problem that we have done above. You can see diameter is quite big. 2.40 meter lens is a quite big diameter, correct? So the resolving power of this telescope is going to be very good. Okay, so it depends on diameter of the of the lens. So if the less diameter, resolve this theta is going to be quite high. If diameter is very less, theta is going to be very high. If diameter is more, theta is going to be less. So we want less theta. We want theta to be less. Correct. So here we say resolving power of a telescope is 1 by theta. It happens to be d upon 1.22 lambda. So इसमें you get very simple problems on this. You have to just remember this formula. So one point about resolving power. This term mu sine alpha is known as numerical aperture of the lens. So we can also write this formula as Na upon 0.61 lambda in air. Okay, let's see a problem based on this. So I'll just maybe put this formula over here. Yeah. So I'll just will solve one problem and see what are technicalities of this formula. So now here if you can see in this formula, this is actually equal to 1 by d. So d happens to be 0.61 lambda air upon mu sin alpha. Now here you can use sin alpha, but for better results let's not use here sin alpha, but let's use here 0.61 lambda air upon mu tan alpha. Here mu happens to be 1, and with tan alpha, see, you get the answer as, with alpha is 30, get 5.87 into 10 raised to, okay, you get answer as this, which will be slightly more with your sin alpha. Correct. The reason being, here this in this formula we have assumed, if you remember our assumption in this formula, you can see it above. Here we have assumed tan alpha is d by 2f. So this happens actually, this is the numerical aperture. But because here alpha was very small, so we assumed here that tan alpha is approximately equal to sin alpha. Correct. Otherwise, if alpha is big, please put tan alpha over here. Okay. Okay. Let's see this homework problem that I've given to you. So again, now this problem, this kind of problem, we've discussed it up. So, but let's discuss this. So, so again, here focal length is 50 millimeter. Correct. Focal length is 50 millimeters and maximum aperture. Now, this aperture is going to be this. Aperture they have given in terms of focal length. So this is f by 2. Okay, so here f by 2 happens to be 25 millimeters. Correct. So generally in the cameras, we can change this aperture. You might have seen sometimes you get images of, even in your cameras also this feature is there. Sometimes you get images of kind of, which with background which has blur background. And sometimes you see kind of a normal images. So how we manage that? We manage that by changing aperture of the lens. So that's that one of the sciences that is being used in photography also. So again, now we know this d, this happens to be the d, correct? And if resolution, yeah. So here also again, you just need to only calculate theta. Theta is 1.22 lambda by d. D happens to be this 25 millimeters and 1.22 lambda. What is lambda over here? Lambda is 500 into 10 raised to minus 9, and d is 25 millimeters, 25, because f by 2 is 10 raised to minus 9. So theta here again happens to be how much? 2.4 into 10 raised to minus 5 radians. 2.4 into 10 raised to minus 5 radians. Okay, and and here also you can just calculate now. Now once you get the theta, I mean, you know this point, you know this point over here. See, the concept of these problems is very very simple. So once you get the theta, you can very easily calculate this up. So here you can assume this, you keep it at f. This distance you need to calculate. This is given as v, which is 9 meters away. So this theta and this theta is same. So once you use d equals to f theta, with this you get f as 1.22 into 10 raised to minus 3 millimeters. Please try it yourself. You can just simply put the values and you can get this result. Correct. Simply here, now here, if I now just see over here, now here what they have done, they have changed the aperture. Now they have changed the aperture. Now what happens? When you change this d, your theta is reduced tremendously. You can see that is reduce or increase. It's kind of increase. It's theta happens to be You can just put the d as 50 by 16 is going to be how much, or we can just put it this way that see here we are getting theta as this. Now this is okay. No, okay, just we'll just put it this way. See, before we were having 1.22 lambda f by 2. Okay, this, but now this is how much? 1.22 lambda f by 16. This is new theta dash. So if you see over here, theta has increased how many times? Here it was, let's say, 2 times 1.22 lambda by f. Here it is 16 into 1.22 lambda by f. So you can see here theta has almost increased 8 times. So here need not solve this also again for this whole thing. You can just see over here. If I keep it over here as, if I keep it, I just multiply this with 8, I get new theta for my this problem. Okay. So the meaning of this statement, how does the situation changes if the lens is stepped down to f by 16, means the aperture of the lens is now changed to f by 16. And again the thing goes same. So theta dash could be 2.4 into 10 raised to minus 5 into 8. This happens to be 2.4 into 8. So I hope you got the essence of these problems. 19.2 to 10 is to minus. Okay. So I hope you got the essence of these problems. Yes. So I think with this we'll end this session here. Thank you very much.